Welcome to Fuzzybutts and Friends. Well, as much as it drives your Fuzzybutts absolutely crazy when they hear me say it, I am the host of this show, Yer Big Dog, Luke Robinson, back with you again. And also back with us again is Ginger Morgan. She's the co-host and co-producer of this show, occasionally, sometimes. And she's always the executive director of the Puppy Up Foundation. Ginger, how are you?
I am great. I'm recovering a little bit from the puppy up walk this past weekend, but I'm doing well. And how are you?
I'm good. That's what I was going to say. This is welcome everybody to a very special edition of Fuzzybutts and Friends. It's the Puppy Up Memphis edition, Ginger. But I just realized how dark I am on the screen. I wasn't really paying attention. We're running a little bit late on dropping this episode because I shot a good video from recently on Sunday, so just a day and a half ago from the Puppy Up Memphis walk. Ginger, we'll get into that in a second. And so in a rush to get this filmed and recorded, our little intro to it, I realized I didn't look at the lighting and I'm very dark. So my apologies. Ginger, what a great event you had there at the Puppy Up walk. Anything you want to say about that before we do an intro to this episode?
Well, thank you. I think everybody had a ton of fun on Sunday. You know, as usual, we always want more people to come out to learn about what Puppy Up does and support us. But I think everybody had a really fun time, and the costume contest was amazing.
Yes, keep talking. I'm going to go turn this light on so I'm not so dark. I'll be back in 1 second.
Well, all right then. So I'll take this opportunity to thank our sponsors for the Puppy Up Memphis walk. Our Gold Pulse sponsors were, one of them was Genie's Therapeutics, Germantown Parkway Animal Hospital, and Zoomies, which we have interviewed here on Puppy Up and Friends, the mobile gym, doggy gym. Pet Sweets for sponsoring us. They also put on the doggy games. And then our silver paw sponsors was Southern Crossing and Memphis Veterinary Specialists. Our bronze paw sponsors are Salon Pistache. She does my hair, so if you like it, you know, and you're in Memphis, you can give her a buzz. Kelsey's Canine Medical Center, they're a first-time sponsor for us. Fluffy
Yes,
Paw.
hold on before. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Before you move on, I want to talk about them.
You want to talk about Fluffy Paws? Kelsey's. Okay, talk about Kelsey's.
Well, I'm excited that we have. It's called the Kelsey Canine
Medical Center.
Medical Center, yes. I just want to make sure I got it right, but I was fascinated. I talked to the ladies there at the booth with that. I was very excited that we had a dog, just 100% strictly dog hospital here in Memphis, Tennessee. Because you know, Ginger, on my travels all over the country, I'm constantly seeing these cat veterinary clinics. I'm thinking, wow, yes, what's going on? It's getting crazy. Cats get their own vet clinic, but what about dogs? And sure enough, one of our vendors, and it seems like sponsors of the event, is Kelsey Canine Center. So the ladies said I wanted to shoot a little bit with them and put it on this episode, but they said, why don't we get Kelsey, Dr. Kelsey, on the show, and he can talk all about his canine strictly for dogs. So it's going to be no cats, no other fuzzy butts. I don't think you can bring anything. I'm pretty sure I clarified that with them. No other pets than dogs. So make sure you reach out to Kelsey and get them on the show, okay?
I will do that. Also, I think that right over the line from Memphis in Mississippi, there's a cat and cow clinic.
That's
a cat and cow clinic. Yeah. So I have always thought that was really interesting.
Well, everybody knows I love all the fuzzy butts of all creatures and animals of all shapes and sizes. For God's sakes, I can't kill anything or see anything be killed. It just breaks my heart and tears me apart and makes me very angry. So you know, but I do think it's interesting that they specialize, because as you and I both know, and I think everybody knows, that dogs do have special needs. Their system is different than their feline counterparts. And also we know of a biological nature that they're more comparable to humans than other companion animals. So I'm fascinated to get Dr. Kelsey on the show. Let's get him on the show. Is there any other sponsor that you want to cover now that I'm illuminated properly?
Well, yeah, I want to finish going through our sponsors. I'm not going to cut anybody off.
Please do not. Yeah.
Right now. So Fluffy Paws Grooming Salon. Starla has groomed my my dogs probably for the last 10 years, I'm guessing. At least I know or even longer than that. We had Leslie Grace Photography there.
Wait, hold on a second. I gotta follow up on that. Starla made Hudson look absolutely beautiful. There was nobody. She had the touch to make Hudson, and Hudson, as you know, was already beautiful. He was my beautiful
Hudson,
boy.
yes, and
But
she used to work for Petco. Now she has her own salon, Fluffy Paws, and she has like a showcase of animals in there that she's taken pictures of. And Hudsey's picture is still on there. So,
well,
and she always called him Huddy. So I thought that was really cute.
And she knew him well too. That's what I loved about her. So she not only grooms your dog, your pet. I don't know if she does anything other than dogs, but you know, she really develops a rapport with them. And she knew Hudson spot on. She knew the Hudson was beautiful, and he looked on the surface innocent, but he was a naughty boy. And Hudson got his way. Or there was just no other way. Hudson, what do we say? It's Hudson's world, and everyone else just lives in it.
Yeah,
but
Hudson's world, and he just let us live in it. So.
But she knew the trick to get him to do what she wanted him to do was make him believe that that's what he wanted him to do. That's what I don't know if I got that right. Make him believe that's what he wanted to do. Right.
I picked him up from her salon one day, and I don't think it was Starla, maybe it was, but it was maybe one of the other groomers there that said, "It's a good thing he's awfully cute."
That's right. She did say that.
That was really telling. But they did.
That's the other thing I like about Starla too, is that she doesn't mess around. She knows she just knows. She knows the dog. She doesn't let them get away with anything, and she doesn't take any guff from them. So anyway, it's great that she's been a sponsor for so long. And we certainly love the work that she does. All right. Well, let's get through this.
Okay, well, let me.
I'm sorry.
If you, I love the fact that you're interjecting because you do know our sponsors, and that's really great. But I have to get through all of them before you cut me off.
I just don't have that. I'm sorry. I just don't have that. It's not that I'm trying to cut anybody off. I just don't have that list in front of me, Ginger, and I don't know if your pause is because it's taking time for your brain to catch up with reality.
No, I'm pausing because you're interrupting. So if you would, okay. So Leslie Grace Photography, she's been out here for a couple of years, donating her time to take some great pictures of the walk, and they will all be up on our Facebook page, Puppy Up Memphis, here in a few days. The Pet Hospitals is also a first-time sponsor for us, and our human hero Lisa Knight actually works at the Pet Hospitals, and they sponsored our water stop and also made a great donation in honor of Lisa. And Happy and Friends is
wait. Now you're going fast.
Hey, there you go. I want
to give a shout out. Lisa's very near and dear to us. She's a very good friend. She's had multiple cancers in the past number of years, and she's had a hell of a battle. She's now in immunotherapy. And she works for Pet Hospitals, one of their locations. I think it's out in Collierville. And the people there at Pet Hospitals have taken phenomenal care of her. And that's just extraordinary that an employer values an employee so highly that they treat them as one of their own. So that deserves a shout out, because all businesses should adopt those types of business practices, as you know, Ginger.
I'm really grateful that Lisa, she went through 6 weeks of chemo and radiation, and the Pet Hospitals, if she felt like working one day, she worked. If she didn't, she didn't. You know, they didn't say, like a lot of people, like you said, like, well, you know, if you can't come to work, you don't have a job. They have supported her through this entire journey, and I'm really grateful for that, for them. So our next sponsor is Happy and Friends. They're a doggy daycare out again in Collierville. They're new, and they have a great facility. I've been out there a couple of times. It's a little far for me to drive to take my kids out there to it, but I would recommend anybody in the Collierville area to head on over to Happy and Friends. And also out there is Pet Suites. So you've got a couple of options for people the companies who support Puppy Up. Then a new sponsor is the Wolf River Pet Hospital, and we just want to put a shout out to them. Thank you. We're hoping that they will continue to support us. And then, of course, our wonderful CPA, Wacko and Wacko and Associates. So I have made it through all of our sponsors. Now, Luke, you can interject.
We'll continue. I'm not trying to interject. I'm just trying to keep the show moving along, Ginger. My apologies. But did you mention in there, did I miss in there somewhere, Dixie Memorial?
They did not get to our vendors. Dixie Memorial has been a big support system for, Puppy Up, and also for us personally.
Yes.
Dixie Memorial has taken care of pretty much all of my pets for a good almost 20 years. So I really appreciate their professionalism, the fact that they can meet me on the emotional level where I am at the time that I need their services. And sometimes I call them up just to chat, just to see what's going on with them and what they may be doing new, so that that I'm not always just calling them when I'm an emotional wreck.
Yes. As you know, I've taken a few of your kids there, and they have attended to cremation of both Hudson and Murphy. So I have history with Dixie as well. They're wonderful. They have a beautiful cemetery out there that you can walk on the ground, so you can have their cremation services. And, Ginger, why I wanted you to mention them, other than just because we have so much history with them, and I think they are wonderful people out there. Josh has been wonderful. I spent more time talking to him than Barbara, but I talked to the new guy. I've never talked to him before, and I pitched him an idea, because they have a little pond, and I said, you should offer a service where you have like a paper mache boat. And you can put the ashes of your companion animals, your mates, on this boat, and you can light it a fire, and you can have a little service out there, and you could, maybe have it nice and a little service. And I know Barbara is I think I've tried to pitch ideas to Barbara in the past, and she's a tough sell. But I think that would be nice. I would do that. I would put the ashes of Hudson, Murphy, and Malcolm all together, and I would invite some friends out and have just a really nice service, have some music, acoustical music or something. So I'm always thinking about that. So the guy there, he liked it, but I'm like, okay, you got to sell Josh first, and maybe Josh can sell Barbara. We'll see.
I'll talk to Josh about that.
All right, so let's get on with this episode. Our apologies, but we do deeply value our sponsors, and we have a personal relationship with all of them. These aren't just people that come out and pay for a booth. I want to give a shout out to the band. I'll get to that in a second. I owe an apology. But let's get to this episode, everyone. It's a special Puppy Up Memphis episode, as we said. So we have 4 interviews for you, and these are actually shot on 4K with my iPhone 13. And so I've had to splice them together. It's not professionally done, and that's the reason why this is being dropped a little bit late, because I have very advanced tools, but I still haven't, Ginger, taken tutorials to learn all the whistles and bells. And as you know, I'm extremely busy with everything I'm doing, with all the projects I've got going on. So anyway, I think you'll love these interviews. They're heartfelt. You're meeting the pet parents personally. They're telling their stories of their kids. And Ginger, I need to point out here, of the 4 interviews, we have 3 companion as 3 dogs, and then we actually have the parent of 1 human a cancer patient, being
right, and he was our human cancer hero last year.
Yeah, so let's go through that list. I want to start off with our canine cancer hero, Ginger. I think that's going to be our first interview. Chris and Lucky. Wow, what a story, right?
Exactly. Yeah, they definitely have a story.
Yeah, Lucky just turned 13, and what I like about her is that they're both just so positive, and they've done just advanced treatment, and she's on it, and Lucky is doing so well. So look forward to that. I think that's going to be the first interview. We have everybody introduce themselves. So let's go to the second interview. I think we're going to do Jenna. We're going to do Ginger.
What did you just call? Anyway.
Jenna, because because the next episode is Brenna and Lima. Okay. My mouth is behind my head, so I always talk slower than I think. So I'm
I
always
love that. I love Lima Bean. I love that.
Lima Bean. She's gorgeous. No, she's so gorgeous. Brenna and Lima Bean both are such beautiful people. But Lima Bean, she's 18 years old, Ginger.
That is phenomenal.
Yeah, she wore a
was so cute.
costume. She's totally cute, and she wore a
Yes.
Halloween costume for your costume contest there.
She sure did. Yes.
Yes, I can't remember what she was, but still,
She was. I believe she was a unicorn.
I think that's right. Yes.
Yeah.
But Lima Bean actually is her name. That's not and you know, it's like there's no Lima short. It's the whole thing Lima Bean. And she's 18. And what I also am interested in, Ginger, and this is why I want to stop and point this out. She mentioned a treatment. She's treating the cancer, not palliative, but it's a new type of ointment to treat the almost entirely certain it's mast cell. It was a mast cell that developed on Lima Bean's paw. And so rather than she couldn't do surgery and all the other things because she's 18 years old, for goodness sakes. And so there's a cream out there, and I don't recall the name. It's a chemical name, and it's like a chemical ablation. It causes the lesion, the cancerous lesion, to lyse, to explode, all the cells to lyse, and then blister up and then heal. And then every number of months, she goes back in and gets it aspirated to see if there's any cancer cells. If so, they repeat the treatment. And so I'm curious to follow, and we need to follow Lima Bean's progress, and more importantly, learn about this drug that I know nothing about and have heard. I'm just apologize. I haven't even heard anything about it. I think she said it is.
Lima Bean's veterinarian is Dr. Mitchner.
You know, it's interesting that you mentioned that. Every single interview, every single dog that and pet parent that we talk to, they're all being treated by Kathy Mitchner, who's she's not board certified, but she's been treating cancer patients here for a long, long time.
Very long time.
She certainly has a tremendous amount of experience. All right. So please watch this interview, Ginger. Follow up with that and find that treatment, and let's maybe get the principal investigators on, or the company, the CEO of the company that developed it. Okay, moving on. Number 3. This is they're all fantastic, but this is they all represent different parts of a picture, Ginger, and a complete picture. And I love the next one. It's Trey and Sammie. And the reason why I love this is Trey himself. Sammie's gorgeous. I absolutely love Sammie. She's doing great. You know, all of the dogs are doing good. So this is not a sad episode. Please, I should have said that. We should have put that disclosure up front, right? This is not a sad episode. It's a happy episode. It's a promising episode. As pet parents, it should give you promise and hope. And Sammie's doing well. But I got to tell you, Ginger, Trey is he's a fascinating guy, and he's a vet tech. And he's not just a vet tech. I've met a lot of vet techs, and it's more than a coin toss. Some of you find that it's just a job, a job, and others you find that truly are passionate, right? They love it. They want to learn more. They want to specialize, which I think is great, and exciting about the future of vet technicians. But Trey is one of those vet techs that he's learned everything about Sammie's cancer. He's learned all of the different treatment types, all the prognoses from the potential outcomes. He's knowledgeable about research that's going on. He's just a fount of information, but more importantly, the guy is passionate. So I really would like to extend an invitation, Ginger, for you to extend an invitation to Trey to come on and do an entire episode about vet techs, the role that they play, the important role that they play, and how I think he's just I don't want to say poster child. That's a silly statement. How he's what is the comparable? He's just, I think, a beacon. I think he's a representative. He's a great representative for vet technicians out there. And I think we can do an entire episode, and we can learn more about Sammie and him. But that's a good episode. That's the number 3 episode. So now I can bring out the disclaimer, because Ginger screwed things up. That's the great thing about this episode is I can say, you should say, now, Luke, Big Dog, have I screwed anything up this episode? And I'll say, well, you didn't, not this episode, but you did at the walk, because we were Trey and Sammie and I were in the midst of this wonderful, wonderful, powerful interview, and the band started playing. And I told them 5 more minutes, and they started playing again. Anyway, we had to stop. So Trey and Sammie's episode is cut into 2 pieces. I just don't have the time to skillfully piece them together and fade them in and out and make it a nicer piece. My apologies, but we're going to get Trey and Sammie on the show, Ginger, and we'll do a much more thorough interview about their story and also vet technicians as well. Okay, moving on. Again, this is a lot longer than what we talked about. I'm glad that we're going through and we're getting everything out, and thanking everybody. And it's also, I think, it's a great episode. So the 4th interview, Ginger, we mentioned it before. We have the companion cancer part of our foundation, right? That's a big part of it. Go ahead and say a few words about why companion cancer and one cancer is so important to what we do.
Well, thanks for throwing that at me. So, dogs get the same type of cancers that people do. As you said, lymphoma, pancreatic cancer as well. That was one of the odd ones that I've never thought about, but they get breast cancer as well. So it's important to know this because the funding that we do for research benefits both pets and people, because what we can study in the pets, we can apply those findings in people. And a lot of that, a lot of the research went on before Puppy Up was founded, that helped our next cancer hero that you're going to talk about. So I'm just stumbling all over my words right now. But anyway, so the next person who is going to talk is Lindsey Hammer. Are you gonna do?
Yes, I'm doing the intro. I just asked you one question, and yeah, you bombed.
Okay, well, I thought you do the intro then.
You were good. You were fine. Don't worry about that. But I did kind of put you on the spot. I didn't mean to, but yeah, what science has taught us, Ginger, to summarize what you're saying, is that nearly every cancer that dogs get, people get too. And we used to have the motto, and I still like to say it, is cancer touches everyone. And
Yes.
We need to ask Phil Bergman if we know what that percentage is. Is it 95% of all dog cancers look the same underneath the microscope, and they act the same as it metastasize the same? That's a good question, but it's a big number. So we no longer talk in terms of canine cancer over here and human cancer over here. We talk about one cancer. And so this is a story that touches close to home, because Peggy, our dear volunteer who's been with us since the age of the dinosaurs. I'm just kidding.
She's been with us since the beginning, and she was also not only has volunteered, but she was also an employee for Puppy Up. So
that's right. I thought we fired her. Maybe I fired her. I don't remember that. No, I'm kidding. We love Peggy. I'm just teasing. I love to tease Peggy because she doesn't. She's like Mayberry in my life. She just doesn't. She's like, she doesn't deal with me. So
yeah, Peggy doesn't deal with you well.
We love her. She's had such a tough story that's touched her life in this final 4th interview, Ginger, and it's about her grandson, Caleb. And so to talk about it is Caleb's mother, and her name is Lindsey. But Lindsey, and what makes the story cute, not only does Lindsey do a wonderful job, she's a strong mother. She's such an inspiration for me, Ginger. I know for you as well. You spend a lot more times with her. But to make it comedic and funny, and funny, and also additionally personal, is to join us in this interview is Lindsey's dog. She has multiple names. The dog's name is Harper, is her name, but
is that what her name is?
It's Harper. It is Harper. That's her proper name, but she's dressed up as a bumblebee for the costume contest. So I kept calling her Bumblebee. And then you know her by a different name. And what is that name?
I call her Cujo. Because she does not like me. I went to their house.
She absolutely
we were playing games.
Ginger. Yes.
Absolutely. I mean, she sat on the couch. We were playing Skip-Bo.
Yep.
that night.
No.
And if I went to like move my hand or anything, she's like, "Urgh." I mean, all night. She was just so happy when I left.
Yeah, but
Like, okay, now I go to their house. I stay outside.
well, the funny thing is that she jumped off of Lindsey's lap and was off leash. So I was kind of scurrying. I thought we may have lost Bumblebee.
Lost the bumblebee.
We lost the Bumblebee during the interview. So Lindsey's like, no, she's fine. But then I was able to finally pick her up, and I was just laughing because Harper Cujo loves Big Dog.
She let you pick her up?
Yes. Cujo loves Big Dog, but she hates Mommy G. So to me, it's a bittersweet episode.
Obviously, she's not a very good judge of character.
No.
I have to say.
No. Remember, there's only one dog that I ever met, and we're talking thousands of dogs on my travels. There's only one dog that's never liked me, and her name was Karma. And yes, indeed, she bit me in the ass.
She sure did.
She did.
I wish I had been there, but
guys,
anyway.
On that note, let's start the interviews. I know you'll love them and find them fascinating. And we look forward to hearing feedback from you, and certainly like them on Spotify or iHeartRadio. We're going to wrap this up now, and we'll say goodbye when the interviews are over. Puppy up. Talk soon. Start. Since Lucky is the star of this show, we're going to go ahead and start recording. Everyone, this is our next interview, our next guest on the special episode of Fuzzybutts and Friends, Puppy Up Memphis edition. We've got with us right now our canine cancer hero of the 2023 Puppy Up Memphis. It's the very gorgeous Lucky, and I'm not sure she's showing off. It's been a long day. They've been out here at the walk. It's a little hot, a little warm, so thank you for doing it. Absolutely. I'd like to introduce you to Lucky's mom, Chris, and I don't know your last name. My apologies.
No worries. Griffin.
Chris Griffin.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you for sitting down and talking and sharing Lucky's story with us. So we're going to make it just simple and just tell us about Lucky's story going through cancer.
So, where do I start? Let's see. So
that's the question,
so
right?
we
Where
had
do you start?
exactly. So that there was a mass on her hind leg.
Okay.
It weighed about 3 or 4 pounds. Whenever they actually were able to take it off and send it to have it looked at and things, and that's when we found out that it was cancer. And so downtown vet, pet hospitals, they sent me to Dr. Mitchner
Yes.
at Bluff City.
Mm-hmm.
And they were amazing, still are amazing. July 27th, which was my brother's birthday, and ironically, this was his dog before he passed. So,
Wow.
yeah. So,
So Lucky is your brother's.
yes,
Your brother's companion, mate.
Correct.
And so when he passed, you adopted Lucky.
Correct.
And so you're carrying your brother with you. And
Absolutely. Absolutely.
so we got to keep her alive and happy and healthy. Well, we can't get her here on the camera. She's down here. She's probably a little bit warm. I just want to show you what I want to show you. I'm not trying not to stress her out. Just how her beautiful smile and how happy she is. Now, how old is Lucky?
She will be 13 July 7th.
I think 13 is a lucky number.
I think so.
Is it the lucky number or the bad?
No, it's always
Only
lucky.
for hotels it's bad. Everything else
exactly.
is good. Well,
Exactly.
okay, you can sit down, sweetheart. I just wanted to show everyone that how happy she was, because that's important, because so many pet parents that I meet, Chris, on my travels, and also by virtue of Fuzzybutts and Friends, this podcast of ours, they're always worried. They're always worried about, is the treatment, is it going to do more harm or do more hurt my mate, worse than doing nothing, doing palliative treatment. So you did, was it surgery alone to remove
Did surgery first, and
Okay.
then we went into Palladia, Visbiome. I mean,
Palladia is a chemotherapy
Absolutely.
for, yes,
Yeah,
it's a
it
wonderful
was-
new one.
It's absolutely fantastic.
Yes, Ginger, our co-host, who is doing the puppy up walk right now. That's why she's not our co-host today. But her dog Lily went through Palladia, and Lily's doing great.
Yes.
So how long ago did Lucky have the Palladia?
We started immediately last year. So, and she did fantastic with it. And it was extremely aggressive. There were other things that Dr. Mitchner did, but she
I
worked
believe in
through
being
it.
aggressive. I made that mistake once, and I was erring on the caution of safety and the health of anyway. It's just the wrong decision. So that's so tough for a pet parent, though, right? Do I treat it aggressively? And if I treat it aggressively, will it do potentially more harm?
Right.
Or is it less risky than option 2, which is less aggressively?
And I just learned, and from all the pet parents I've met, Chris, is that cancer doesn't mess around. You got to go. If your dog, if your mate, if your companion has a reasonable chance of surviving, and that's a number you have to come up on your own. I can't give it to you. Nobody can. And it has a reasonable chance. You got to go the aggressive route because cancer doesn't mess around. It does not wait. It does not stop for anything until you.
And the second, it was either the second or third day when she was so ill, just so sick, to the point that I'm crying because did I do wrong? Did I make the wrong decision?
Right.
You know, and you're going to second guess yourself.
Yep.
But there's always a chance, and there's always hope, and you just keep going until you can't keep going anymore. And
I love that. I
she
didn't
just
interrupt you.
No, that's
Keep going and going and going, and I'm sure, like you never can stop. You
Right.
just got to keep going.
That's right. We'll do it until she doesn't want to do it anymore. So.
You know, I had a little saying. Malcolm, my first dog, like bone cancer, after it spread to his lungs. You know, it was tough to get up in the morning. It was just hard. It was just tough, and he did. You know, he did good, and you know, we almost got 2 years outcome from the aggressive treatments that we did. But I had this little thing just to keep me motivated
Right.
and to keep him, you know, and make him so I wouldn't worry or stress. And I said, we don't give up. We don't give in until the end, my friend.
That's right.
And that's it. You just got to go.
That's
It hurts. It's painful. It's sad.
Absolutely.
And you just got to keep going.
Yes, sir.
So, all right. So, do we know? Lucky is 13.
We'll be 13.
We'll be 13. So we're just gonna get it aspirated every 6 months.
Correct.
Is the plan.
Correct.
And then just take it from there.
Correct.
And you guys are living it up, living the life
No,
up.
shit.
All right.
Been here all day having a great time.
Good.
Thank
Where
you
else?
so
What else?
much.
What other activities do you and Lucky do?
Well,
Well, before I get in that,
she has a brother and sister, and
Okay.
it's and 3 cats to chase
Yeah.
around. So she keeps quite busy, and
well, I can tell she's got a lot of energy. But I didn't want to forget it because it's so important. Please tell us. Take a second and tell us about your brother.
so
I think that's very important because so much of him is.
So my mom and dad actually got Lucky from a farmer in Holly Springs. They 4 weeks old. Someone threw the puppy out. The puppy wound up underneath the farmer's wagon, and the farmer found her. Of course, they had another dog, so they couldn't keep her. Mom and Dad went and got her, brought her to Memphis, and gave her to my brother because he had just lost a dog. And this was his joy. But unfortunately, James passed, and here we are.
How recently did he pass?
He passed in 21.
James what's his name? Is his
James.
name?
James Robinson, yeah.
James Robinson. Do you know that's my name?
Really?
James Luke Robinson.
Really?
Is my name. Yes.
Oh
Wow.
my
This is not
goodness.
planned.
Oh my goodness.
It's not planned at all. Yes, James Luke. Everyone calls me Luke, so
Oh my
nobody. But
goodness.
James Luke Robinson. Wow. I lost one of my own. I feel
Oh my
like.
goodness. So
Yeah.
yeah, so great guy. Fortunately, mother was home here in Memphis whenever he passed. So
Was it unexpected?
It was. In fact, the last thing that he did was stand at the back door watching the dogs because he really enjoyed that, and they're playing and having a great time.
Wow.
Went and laid down and had a massive heart attack. So
But saw the dogs.
yeah, saw the dad. That was the last
Dog.
thing. Big old smile on his face, and said he was going to go lay down, and that was that. So we'll take that.
It's a beautiful story. Thank you for sharing
you so much for
Lucky,
letting me.
Lucky and James' story with us. Chris, thank you so much. And I'm glad I have a picture of Lucky getting all the. She's the canine cancer hero of
Yes,
the
she
year,
is.
and I
Yes,
got
she is.
pictures of all the goodies and all the
Thank
treats
you.
that she got.
Lots
so
and lots.
she-
I appreciate
we
that
hooked her up.
so
didn't
much.
we?
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Well, she's
for
a
that.
beauty. So,
Thank you so
we'll be
much.
following Lucky and checking in. So
sir.
anytime you want to come on our show and give us an update, you're welcome to.
Excellent. Thank
All
you
right,
so
Chris.
much.
Thank you so
Appreciate you.
much, guys. We got some more interviews coming up. Stay tuned. All right, everybody, we have a special treat right now. We have Lima Bean, this gorgeous beauty, 18-year-old puppy dog, and I'm so excited to share her story with you. And to do that, we've got Brenna, Lima Bean's mom, to tell you all about it. So tell us, please, Lima's story.
First of all, she was wearing a unicorn outfit. So that's why I still have a unicorn on my head. But, we got her when she was about 4 years old. So we've had her about 14 years. Best guess is between 17 and 18. She was already a heartworm survivor at that point. And then I guess it was beginning of last year, she had she's had some lipomas that we get aspirated and checked every 6 months, and they've been fine. But she had a lump pop up on her back foot, right between her toes. That was hard. It started losing hair, and she kept acting like it was causing her some discomfort. And so we went in early before our usual 6 months and went ahead and got that one poked.
Good for you.
Which was a good thing because it turned out to be mast cell cancer. And then we ended up getting referred to Dr. Mitchner here in Memphis. And we did a Stelfonta injection. Obviously, she's very old. We didn't want to put her under anesthesia, remove it surgically.
I'm not familiar with that. Say that again.
Stelfonta.
Okay, what is that?
So it's a pharmaceutical. It's, as far as I understand, it's fairly new. But if the tumor is below the Hawk level, it's fairly safe, but it is very scary and very painful.
Okay, the injection is very painful. Okay.
So they inject it, it swells up. The tumor itself and any of the tumor tissue turns necrotic and turns black and falls off. And then you're left with an open wound, which you can't put anything on. And then that heals after about 2 weeks.
So it's like a chemical ablation.
Kind of.
So the only reason why I know this is Yer Big Dog there for a brief time. I was playing water volleyball at Town Lake in Austin, Texas, and I was doing it without shoes like a knucklehead. I got a gash on the bottom of my foot, and then within like a month or two, this giant colony of warts began to grow on the bottom of my feet, and I had to do chemical ablation on them, and it was very painful. So yes, that's got to be painful. So answer us this question, Brenna. So was it inoperable to surgery? Is that why you chose chemical ablation?
The concern with her was the anesthesia.
Okay, just putting her under, and at 8, well, she was probably 17 at that?
Yeah, she was at least 17
Wow,
at the time.
this is a great story, everybody. So Brenna is such a wonderful pet parent. You're so wonderful. So at 17 years old, even though she couldn't do couldn't do a traditional type of treatment with this, that you found an alternative treatment. Now, how is she doing? Has the wound healed?
It has healed. Now, some of the cancerous tissue was into the muscle tissue. So she does, like, her toes get stuck sometimes, and you'll see her kick out her back feet a few times. And I usually just kind of give her a little lift to get her feet back under her, and then she's okay. She does have some elevated liver enzymes, which may have been from the extra antihistamines that we had to take with that, or it might just be because she's 18.
Yeah. Well, she's look at this beauty. This 18. I don't know how many years that is in small dogs, but it's older than me for sure.
Yeah.
But look at this beauty. Look at her. She's happy. She's out here at the Puppy Up Memphis Walk. She's gorgeous. She's beautiful with that gray muzzle. It's like a silver. It's just a really beautiful type of color.
And it's funny because I look back at old pictures and everything that's white on her face was jet black when we first got her.
When you started,
all of her black has turned white, and she's just, now I can't imagine her without this.
Well, she
this
wears it
frosty
beautifully,
face.
unlike me. I had to get mine dyed because I look bad. Look like an old dog, the old big dog.
I'm embracing mine. I'm hoping for like a natural skunk stripe or something.
So now that you didn't do surgical excision or any of the other, I'm assuming you didn't do chemo or radiation, you just did this injection. And I'm gonna find out about this injection. We'll learn more about that, and I'll do a separate episode, hopefully with the principal investigator that helped develop it, because I'm excited to learn about it. Now, is it specifically for mast cell tumors, or is it just anything that you need to necrotize the tissue that you need to necrotize?
I'm not 100%. Most of the studies and the clinical evidence, because I looked through everything before we agreed to do it. We had a little bit.
Well, good for you. Boy, you're so responsible. You are.
Like we looked through all of the studies and all the results and everything, and wanted to know exactly what we were getting into with this open wound. She's decided to stay.
Okay. I don't want her to get nervous, and I certainly don't want her to get harmed on Fuzzybutts and Friends. We almost lost Bumblebee a second ago.
There we go. If anything, she's just going to jump up and go explore things for a little while.
Yeah, 18 is still exploring.
Yes.
Oh, after my own heart.
We've got
woman after my own heart. What can I find? Where can I find the human version of oh my gosh. Where can I find the human version of Harper? I mean, Lima Bean.
Lima Bean. Well, I mean, she's got an eight-year-old brother at home that she picked out to keep because she was my like foster mom dog for a little while. We would foster dogs and she'd teach them how to be dog.
Yeah.
And we have Pacino at home. We just call him Chino, and he's now 8, but he was maybe 4 weeks old when we first brought him into the house, and she still plays with him and beats him up and tells him to run from her.
She's got a lot of
and
spunk.
he's twice her size. So
yeah. So is she the madam of the house still?
Yeah, she's Miss Sassy Pants, I think.
Well, I'm sorry I confused her name. We just put together these interviews today, and I have a list, and I don't have my notebook. And as you know, Yer Big Dog. I mean, my mind is probably older than hers. That's what I'm saying. She looks. I don't know how I could get her energy.
Yeah.
But she's wonderful. She's beautiful. Thank you. One more question. I know you've been out here at the walk for a while, and I know it's kind of a warm day. So, so how is she? What is the prognosis? Do we know, or it's just uncertain?
We've got her on some supplements and things like that, and dietary changes that we can do to kind of help maintain the liver enzymes or lower them. And so we're doing some of that. She's got some fresh greens that have been added in, Sammie, things like that.
Fresh vegetables are great.
Yeah.
Cancer diet.
Of course, things like fish oil and stuff like that
Good.
are always
Fish oil
good.
is good, especially for mast cell tumors. Yes.
Yeah. So anything like that we can do, we do. And outside of that, it's just watching some of her liver enzyme levels and watching to see. We always do our 6-month aspirations and
6 months aspirated every 6 months.
Yeah.
It's so good to talk about this, and it's so important as for elderly dogs is that systemic treatment is very hard on geriatric patients. So the great thing about this treatment, say the name of it again.
Stelfonta.
Stelfonta. The great thing is it's localized, so it doesn't potentially cause problems in the other organ systems, which are older and everything. So it's a localized treatment, and we're gonna we're gonna keep up with Lima Bean and you, Brenna, and check in on you every once in a while because I want to learn more about Stelfonta. I'm going to find out more. We're going to talk about it more on Fuzzybutts and Friends, and I wanted to check in and see how Lima Bean is doing. I think it's like the 2-name thing. I want to call her Lima, but I realize no, it's Lima. You gotta have to be.
You
with
can say Lima Bean, or you could say Beans, or
I was going to say
like,
LB, but that's almost like LL.
Beansley, Bean Pod.
Beansley. So you're like me, you got like 20 names for your kid.
Yeah. She did pick out her name Lima Bean though. When I was a kid, that was the only green thing I would eat. And so it was always a joke, but we hated the name that she had whenever we got her from the rescue, which was like Liza or something. It just didn't seem to fit her. And we just kept throwing out like we'd throw out names in other language and all sorts of stuff. And at some point, James just goes, let's just call her Lima Bean. And she perks up and comes running over.
That's it. That's how I did Malcolm,
since.
my first one. It just, actually, my brother said, hey, does that work? And I said, Malcolm. And he's like, hello.
Yep.
I went through months. Mine took me months. Well, Lima Bean, it works. She's a beauty. And Brenna, thank you so much for sharing Lima Bean's story. Do you have any final messages for our audience going with a dog with cancer, especially a geriatric dog with cancer? Do you have one final word?
My biggest thing, early detection is key, but also like age is not a disease.
Yep.
So as long as she's happy, we're gonna keep doing whatever we can to keep her healthy and happy. And
right. 2 solid
yeah.
points. 2 solid.
Just
You
keep
couldn't.
going.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I was like, you can't stop it any better right there. Early detection, diagnosis.
Age is not a disease.
Age is not a disease, exactly. Yep. Well, thank you again, Brenna, and thank you, Lima Bean. We'll be checking in on you, girl. Yeah. All right, guys, we're going to move on to the next interview we have on the special episode of Fuzzybutts and Friends. Don't go away. All right, everybody, we have another interview, another guest for you. We've got Trey and his gorgeous kid, Sammie, who is a cancer survivor. And I kind of put the camera more towards there because I don't think Sammie's getting on your lap.
Yeah, no, she's a ground girl.
Yeah. All right, well, tell us about, Trey, tell us about Sammie. Well, first of all, thank you for coming to be a part of the Puppy Up Walk this year.
Yeah, no problem.
Appreciate that. Thank you for bringing Sammie out. We have those purple bandanas for the cancer survivors to come out. So tell us about how did Sammie come into your life, Trey, and tell us her story.
So, I used to volunteer for the Humane Society down the street, and I have another dog at home. She's a big dog named Jasmine, and Jasmine needed a friend. And I had been off of volunteering for about a year and a half, and I went back in to volunteer, you know, and they have a board there with a bunch of names on it, and you just mark them off and as you walk them. And so I just picked a random one, you know, and it took me to her kennel, and there she was just looking at me with the prettiest little eyes. And I took her out, and she was just perfect, and I was like, I think she'd be perfect, you know, for my other dog to have a companion.
So you were a dog walker,
Mhm.
you're a volunteer at the Humane Society here in Memphis. Let's give a shout out to them. That's Shelby County, Memphis and Shelby County Humane Society. Ginger used to run that for 4 years. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
Yeah, Ginger
actually.
was the executive director of that for 4 years, and I walked through Memphis 15 years ago, and she came and then joined me, and we started Puppy Up for
Okay.
dogs with cancer. So thank you for being a volunteer for the shelter. They're a wonderful group, and we certainly support rescues and shelters. So thanks for volunteering.
Yeah.
So you were just volunteering. You said, I'm going to go walk a random dog. Just pick up. Now, did they have a picture of her and you get to choose, or just
Nope.
a name or something?
Her name was Nell at the shelter.
Oh, okay.
And I just, you know, the blue dots, they're the nicer dogs, the more easygoing
Okay.
temperament. So I was like, I'll just start with an easy one to walk.
Yep.
So I just picked a blue dot off the board, and she was the one that I was led to. And I walked a bunch of dogs, 100 dogs, probably over the course of my volunteering there, and she was the only one that captured me like that.
So you were smitten at first sight, or did it work? She have to work on you a little bit.
You know, I loved her at first sight, but I was like, I'm gonna walk the others. Of course, I wasn't really planning on getting another dog. But something about her, I just couldn't get her out of my head. I didn't adopt her immediately. I thought about it for like 2 weeks, and I walked her several more times before, and ended up, you know, doing the paperwork and everything and taking her home, and she's just been the best.
So you have another fuzzy butt at your house?
So I have 4 dogs
Oh,
total.
4! You're a true believer like Ginger.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's awesome.
She was the second of the 2, and then I've got a little American bully that I got from the MAS.
Okay.
And then I've got a little dachshund puppy. He's like 8 pounds, and
Love dachshunds.
he's the only one with the pedigree.
What's his name?
Zeke.
Zeke. It's awesome
also the
name
only
for
boy.
Doxy. Doxies have the coolest names. Doxies and Pitties have the coolest names. Now is Sammie a Pitty? Or do we not know? Or?
So I DNA tested her. She's about 60% Staffy, so
Staffy.
mostly pit
Okay.
bull, and then the rest is Australian Shepherd and Husky.
Wow. Well, she's gorgeous. Okay, so you adopted her. She we won't tell her it took you 2 weeks to make up your mind. We won't tell. Well, honestly, I fostered a 3-legged Pyrenees, and I tell them all the time that it took me a couple of weeks, but I think the first time I met them, you kind of know,
yeah,
right?
you definitely know.
But you have to logistically put it together and then figure it out,
definitely know.
right?
I mean, my
How am I
other
gonna
one,
make it work?
the third of my 4, she was just on a field trip at the park, being walked by a volunteer.
Yeah.
And she ran into me walking my other 2 dogs, and the next day I went to the shelter and I got her.
Hold on a sec. Sorry about that. I think the band's about to play, and I hope not. We're almost done, guys. Sorry about that. For those of you that are maybe just tuning in or something, which is weird because it's a podcast and it's not like it's live.
Right.
We got a band. This is live at the Puppy Up Memphis, and we have the band, and I'm hoping they don't start playing. So I'm sorry to interrupt you, Trey.
You're fine.
Okay. So tell us. So how long has Sammie been with you? And yep, that would be. I'm going to pause this. We're not going to start this again. I'm just going to pause this and we'll pick right back up. Hold on. Okay, guys, we're picking it right back up where we left off. I apologize. That was a breakdown in communication. The band is going to chill for 5 minutes. Let's go ahead. So let's start. So how long have you had Sammie in your... How old was she when you adopted her?
I honestly have no idea. I've had 3 different vets tell me that she was 2.
Okay.
another vet looked at her earlier this year and told me she was 2, but I've had her since 2019, so
Okay.
it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
We think she's probably around 6 or 7.
Okay.
And she's been with me since 2019.
All right. So you've had her for four good, strong years for most of her life, then I guess.
Yeah.
And so when did you find out? Tell us about your experience. How did you find out she had cancer?
So it was really recent actually. She was diagnosed with a mast cell tumor, very aggressive one. A couple months ago, I think mid-September. I'm a vet technician.
Okay. Where at, please?
Memphis Animal Clinic.
All right.
Yeah, we're over at East Parkway and
Yes.
Central.
Yes.
By Christian Brothers. And so, I see dogs with cancer all the time, every day.
Unfortunately, so. Yeah.
And so, whenever any sort of lump or bump pops up on any of my dogs, and they're all, the breeds that are very prone to get mast cell tumors.
They are absolutely.
Other types of cancer, I immediately take them into the vet because I have the privilege of being able to get it taken off the very next day.
Right.
And she has a grade 2 mast cell tumor, but on the pathology report, they said that they suspect it to be more aggressive than a typical grade 2.
Okay.
And so on her mast cell tumor prognostic panel, the results just really weren't great. But
I was going to ask you if you did that. Thank you for doing that. For those of you that don't know what a prognostic panel is, would you mind explaining it to the audience that's not in the veterinary business?
Yeah, so pretty much it's a panel that, after your dog is diagnosed with a tumor of some sort, you can put in another order request where they take that tissue sample. It's been established as a certain type of tumor, and they look for certain genetic markers in the tumor, certain, types of certain elements of the tumor that give you kind of they can predict the tumor's behavior.
Yeah.
It helps us better predict what the tumor is going to do.
And you said the key word, it's a predictive technology, is that it looks at the markers and tries to understand what type of cancer we're looking at, because it helps you refine treatment options, right?
It definitely does. Like for her, it helped us narrow down that the drug that she needs is a tyrosine kinase inhibitor, which typically we use Palladia for that. And she sees Dr. Mitchner at Bluff City Vet Specialists. Huge shout out to them.
Yes.
I'm sure a lot of the dogs around here go to her.
Actually, all 2 of the previous interviews, pet parents with dogs with cancer, Kathy Mitchner. But yes, she's a wonderful local resource, right?
And yes, she is. And she was actually one of the DVMs that helped develop Palladia.
Yeah. Yes, that's right.
So,
I'd forgotten about that.
It's an amazing drug. It's an oral chemotherapy. This is Sammie's first week on it. Luckily, she's going to do a very short round of it this time. It's only a 3-month dose of Palladia. And she doesn't have to get any IV chemotherapy.
Did we skip over, or did I miss something? Did we take the tumor off first?
Yes. So this scar right here.
Okay, behind leg. Back
It
left
was
hind.
there.
Okay.
And we got complete margins on it,
Good.
but Dr. Mitchner wanted us to go back in and get even bigger margins on it because she says that local recurrence is going to be...
When she found out the additional information about it. So that's another important point out there, is that they found out they got the additional prognosticator predictive panel back, and they got the news that it was a very aggressive, even though it was grade 2, still a very aggressive, probably high mitotic frequency.
10.
10. Wow.
Mitotic count of 10.
And so you went back in and took more of the tissue out. That's, wow.
And then another thing she did, and luckily she got the all clear on this, it all came back good, but she took a fine needle aspirate of her spleen before starting chemo to make sure that it hadn't metastasized.
Yep.
And with the location of this tumor, dogs have popliteal lymph nodes right here in the backs of their leg, and this is probably the first place that it would metastasize if it was going to. So she took an FNA of that lymph node there too and sent it out. And it was all normal lymphatic tissue, which just emphasizes how diligent that we should be with early detection.
Absolutely.
Because if that had gone unchecked, that's, and it gets into their lymphatic system, that's how it travels all over the body, and she can end up with cancer over here and over here.
You got another set of problems that you're dealing with.
In the GI lymphoma and all sorts of bad stuff that you don't want to deal with.
Well, you are so well educated about canine cancer, companion animal cancer, and stuff, and it sounds like you had a good resource, local resource, Dr. Mitchner.
She's
and
amazing.
but you're also a vet tech, so that's good. But I met some vet techs that really aren't, and I'm not speaking bad on them, but just aren't as educated as you. So I believe you've taken it next level, and this is an important point. You've always got to take it next level because you've got early detection. in early diagnosis is the difference between an outcome of a couple of weeks to a couple of years sometimes. It's
And
so
there's a new panel that IDEX has come out with that not a lot of people are familiar with yet. We recommend it now for our preventative care package for any dog over 6 years old. It costs us in clinic around $60 with IDEX, so I think with clients it'll cost you around $120.
Okay.
But it's just a blood test, and it can detect cancer cells in the body. Doesn't work for all cancers, not doing mast cell yet, but hemangiosarcoma, osteosarcoma, those more aggressive cancers that attack dogs very frequently. Some statistics even say 1 in 4,
Right.
1 in 3 even.
Yeah. Some breeds, yeah. Well, we're at I think 6 million new cases of dog cancer a year. It's a big problem.
So it's a really good test. Ask your vet about it.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing her story, Sammie's story, and also your story as well. Because not only are you a volunteer at an animal shelter, you're a vet technician, and you're also very well educated, so you know how to take care of your Fuzzybutts. Guys, he's a role model for all of us. Even myself, he's a role model. Trey, thank you so much
You're
for
so
sharing.
welcome. Thanks
All
for
right.
having me out.
Yes, sir.
This is my first time at this event, and it was great.
We loved having you. Puppy up, and we'll see you next year.
Yeah,
'Cause We're going to be
absolutely.
doing one next year. Bye, Sammie.
Thank you.
We'll be checking in on her. All right, everyone. Thank you so much.
Let me pick her up.
Well, there's Bumblebee. Come on, get in her lap. There you go, sweetheart. Show off that cute little costume. Hey, everyone, Yer Big Dog here. This is a special Puppy Up Memphis edition of Fuzzybutts and Friends. We got the gorgeous, I'm calling her Bumblebee earlier.
Bumblebee.
Yes, and
Harper.
it's Harper, gorgeous Harper. She's dressed as a Bumblebee for we're doing a Halloween contest here at the Puppy Up Walk in Memphis. And we also have with us a special guest today. I'm sorry that you hold on, before we get into the story, and I need to do the disclaimer, we're doing this, recording this here on site at the Puppy Up Memphis Walk, so there's gonna be some ambient noise. I'll try to talk as loud, I can get loud, but Lindsey, do the best you can, but it's a tough story. We'll get through it, but my apologies to the audience if there's some ambient noise in this podcast, but wanted to sit down and talk to some pet parents that have experience with cancer and their companion animals, and also human, because the Puppy Up Foundation is all about companion cancer. It's only one cancer. There's no dog cancer and human cancer. It's the same type of cancer in most cases, so we call it one cancer now. And here with us today to share a special story, and one that touches the Puppy Up family. It's Lindsey. And so, Lindsey, please introduce yourself. Start off by telling your name, and then tell us about Caleb.
Okay. Hi, my name's Lindsey Hammer. My mom, you might know, Peggy Foster, works for Puppy Up Foundation. And a few years ago, in 2021, my oldest son was diagnosed with osteosarcoma. We're lucky enough to live in Memphis, where St. Jude was just a quick jaunt down Poplar Avenue, but we were immediately received, and he was treated for the osteosarcoma. He had a tumor in his, there she goes, in his left arm, and he underwent 17 rounds of chemotherapy and had his humerus replaced in the middle of it. He was declared cancer-free, but we had it came back over the summer and had the lung nodule removed, so he's currently undergoing immunotherapy still at St. Jude.
I didn't mean to interrupt, but is it okay if she's off
fine.
leash? So
Yeah,
she's fine.
yeah.
I didn't want during the episode of Fuzzybutts and Friends for us to lose
Do you
the
get some
Fuzzybutt.
comments about
Well,
where's
yeah,
the dog go? Yeah.
right. So my apologies for interrupting your story. Yes, Peggy, as some of you know, has been with the Puppy Up Foundation as long as Ginger's been in some way or another. She's been a wonderful volunteer. And so what have you learned about Caleb's bone cancer and just talk about the experience, because Caleb is, when was he diagnosed? How old was he?
He was 11 when he was diagnosed. He's now just turned 14. So it was quite a shock, obviously, but from the minute we walked into St. Jude's door, they took care of us. And within 2 weeks, he had already had a biopsy and a port put in, and chemotherapy had started. So it was certainly a rough journey for us. We've learned a lot about cancer and the medical treatment that comes with that, and we're just incredibly grateful for St. Jude and the work that they do, and just to be in
How was the
Memphis.
St. Jude experience, guys?
they are wonderful. They make it the best possible experience that you can have. Obviously, you're dealing with a lot of heavy issues, and day-to-day things change, but they're always there, and they're never ready to give up hope. And it's our heart. So, yeah.
How's Caleb doing? How is he handling it? I know it must be tough for him.
Yeah, he's a 14-year-old boy, and I asked him the other day if he was nervous or worried about anything, and he said, nope, I'm in the best place for the best care, and they're going to take care of me. And he said, I have faith that everything will work out. To be 14 and have that attitude is wonderful. It helps us keep a positive attitude throughout everything.
It does. It's one thing I've learned, especially as the medical, the caretaker really of Caleb and stuff. It must be tough for you because you can't let your emotions get in the way. You can't let him see, I would imagine, how tough of a toll it's been on you emotionally. Yeah. So, what has it been like? Because I only know it's not different, but it is different. Yeah. I only know what it's like to be a father of Fuzzybutts that I've lost. I've gone through cancer, and unfortunately, knock on wood, Caleb won't have this similar outcome, but I've also I've had a bone cancer dog, and we got the best outcome with the treatment at the time. And I only know what it's like as a parent of the Fuzzybutts to go through that. And so how has it been for you, and how are you handling it?
It was rough at the beginning, but we just, our kind of family motto is one day at a time. So we just get through whatever hurdle we have to get through that day, and just go through the treatment plan, and just have faith that we're doing everything we can to keep him healthy and to try to keep it from coming back. So. And
you have another family member back here, though.
Chattering in the background.
Yes, unfortunately, I'm sorry, guys. I think that's probably going to be some ambient noise in the background, so apologize, but that's her. Who's that over there?
That's my son Luke is 7.
That's right. His name is Luke.
Yes. He's
actually Luke. I'm Luke. Yeah. I'm older though. I came first. I was Luke first.
Exactly. We always called him our happy mascot. He just, he knew a little bit what was going on, but he's just a ray of sunshine, and he kept us happy.
It sounds like Luke is a trooper then. It sounds like he's the positive energy that Caleb needs.
Right, he's dancing in the
good.
kitchen.
You need a brother like that to help cheer you through it and keep you going. You need somebody. Mom is good. It's good to have mom. That's great. But you need somebody your size, or your where you're at in life, cheering you through. It's good to have a champion.
Yeah. He was definitely that, and we always thought that he didn't really know what was going on, but he would go to school and tell his teachers. My brother's, he just beat cancer. He's so he does understand what we've all been going through. So.
Yeah. That's good. I think that's important. I've actually met parents that have had children with cancer that don't inform them that they have cancer, and I found that to be interesting. I'm not. I don't judge anyway. It's not. It's just not what I do. So but I found it interesting and fascinating, and I was just curious, and I just thought that I'm not sure, but I would think that most children, with the right family and support, can emotionally handle it. And then one of the things that we like to do at the Puppy Up Foundation is I've had now 2 tripods. Malcolm got bone cancer. He lost a leg, so he was 3-legged. I had to go through all that. And then I had Grayson, and we got him with only 3 legs. And so what I found is that there's a wonderful organization called Tripods, and they're a community, and just taking 3-legged dogs in front of bone cancer patients, pediatric patients, helps them see that it has helped some of them deal with the social awkwardness and the fact that they're a little different than they were before.
Absolutely. And St. Jude's really great about the doctors speak directly to him because of his age. They talk to him in a way that he can help understand, and they ask him questions and get his, if he's worried about, if he wants to talk about anything. And a lot of times they would say, okay, repeat back to me what we just told you. In a way, and that way he's understanding it, and he knows the magnitude of what the situation is.
It's very important, and I have to say that within the veterinary oncology community, the majority of that, vast majority of them actually get the same quality of care and treatment and empathy and through the process. And it's important to have practitioners that walk you through. It truly is a partnership, and you're putting the most valuable thing in your life in their hands,
right.
and that's
Yeah.
your boy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thank you for taking some time to talk with us. Is there anything other message to pet parents? We have a bunch of people that watch the show, so maybe they're not just pet parents. Maybe they've personally had cancer.
Yeah.
They're people that have cancer. Do you have any message for them you'd like to say? Share with them?
Actually, at St. Jude, they have service dogs, and that has brought a lot of comfort to Caleb as well. There were nights where he had an infection, and we just couldn't leave yet. They wouldn't let us go home, and we had a special handler and a dog that would come and visit him and fall up in the bed, and it was always very comforting. So I think
That's a wonderful message for I know we have in our audience, and we've talked to some organizations that train service dogs for the purpose of taking them to St. Jude and to other wonderful organizations that support. So if you're involved with that thank you. Thank you guys for training service dogs, because they're a tremendous help.
They make a big help, especially with children that are uneasy, and that you see a dog and everybody smiles. So, yeah.
They make it easier.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they make me easier too, and I'm a tough guy. I'm tough to deal with, and every day they make me just a little bit
nicer,
easier,
yeah.
a little bit nicer, a little bit easier. Well, Lindsey, thank you so much, and our best to Caleb.
Thank you.
Got a little bit of ambient noise there because there's there's a street nearby here at the park, but this is Shelby Farms. It's absolutely gorgeous out here. It's been a wonderful day. Lindsey, thank you for sharing Caleb's story with
course.
us.
Thank you for having me.
And I know we'll keep in touch because we got Peggy, part of our team. So.
And Ginger.
Yeah. All right, Bubble, I got to tell a fun. Can you hold her up one more time? Before we go, I like to leave things on a fuzzy butt note. So I just found out today, Bumblebee didn't take warm to me. I tried to pick her.
She likes you.
Well, I know, but
More than Ginger.
Yeah, but Bumblebee absolutely hates Ginger. She attacks Ginger. It cracks me up.
Yeah.
So people that think that every dog loves Mommy G.
That's not true.
Not true at all. Bumblebee right here.
She calls
Harper
kids
right here.
What was she called? She growls at her like every time she's at her.
I love
So
it.
it's funny.
You're my new friend, Harper. You're my best. Anybody that growls at Ginger, Mommy G, is my friend. All right, guys, we've got some more interviews coming up. Thank you so much. Thank you again.
Yeah.
Are you finished?
Yep. All right.
Yes, we're finished.
All right, everybody, Yer Big Dog back here along with my co-host and sidekick, Ginger Morgan. All right, so, I did make one final note here. I'm going to do the cancer. Well, actually, before I do that, I always ask you. All right, Ginger, did I screw anything up this time? Did I get anything wrong? I mean, we know you did now, but what about me?
Right. You're perfect. But, as my coffee cup says here, I'm kind of possum.
Yes,
So, there you go.
yes, at times, indeed, as we all are in our own way. And here's Yer Big Dog has a cancer tip of the week, and I think
It's about time.
I think that you'll like this one in the particular. I think that what you've learned, in addition to hearing so many beautiful stories, Ginger, and so touching and personalized, and they all had their own individual message. And I wanted to make a note. The reason why, I forgot to mention in the background with Lindsey, my apologies, there's a kid talking in the back, and that's Caleb's brother. And his name is incidentally Luke. So Luke is over there yapping. I'm like, how appropriate! I'm yapping in my own interview. So he takes a little after me. But what I love to hear about the story, Ginger, is little Luke, Caleb's brother. He's like the cheerleader for Caleb. So he's like a positive energy and force in Caleb's life. And I'm like, yes, that makes me proud that someone that bears my name is a positive influence and a cheerleader and a good force in Caleb's life, because it's a tough story. I know it's touched all of you, and I want to thank everybody for being a part of it and being a part of this show. And so what I wanted to leave you with, my cancer tip, is that these are the type of so this was shot at the end of the puppy up walk while everybody else was walking. So if you don't see anybody around, that's because everybody was walking. And so none of them were able to walk because they all had to be interviewed. So we had to get these interviews done real fast and shot real fast. And so my apologies for the production quality, but I think everyone will overlook that. And I implore everyone to go to our YouTube channel, fuzzybuttsstudios.com, and watch these as opposed to listening to them on Spotify or iHeartRadio. So that dovetails into my cancer tip of the week. These are the types of people that you'll meet at Puppy Up Walks, Ginger. I'm sure, as you can attest to, beautiful, wonderful people, ordinary, everyday people that cancer has touched them in some way. So my cancer tip of the week, please go to puppyup.org/walk, or just go to puppyup.org and look for a Puppy Up Walk in your area. And please go out there and meet some of these wonderful people and hear their stories, personally hear their stories. And if there's not one in your area, you can start one by contacting Ginger at puppyup.org. That's her email. How do you like that cancer tip of the week? Be a part of it.
I like that. You know, we have our Little Rock Walk is on November 4th.
I'm going. Yes, Fran.
And your big dog's going to be there.
Yes.
I'm gonna stay at home, I guess, and take care of the kids here.
Well, Nanny needs not round the clock care, but Nanny needs somebody there within, every 6 hours. I don't want to go into that right now, but thank you for doing that. I'm fortunate enough to go to Fran's walk, and Fran's been with us since before you. So it's interesting.
Exactly.
I met her in Arkansas before I walked through Memphis, and so I met her. But there's a question that you never answered. I kept asking. This is technically the 15th anniversary of Puppy Up, but was this also the 15th anniversary of the Puppy Up Memphis walk? Did we have I think we had.
No, so it's not necessarily. It's okay. So when you started your walk, 2 dogs, 2,000 miles.
Short version of it. People are.
Yeah, it was in 08. Puppy Up was actually formed in 2010. So,
okay.
And the Memphis walk started in 2011. 2012.
Okay. So I kept saying 14th anniversary, so I even screwed that up. So I did screw that up. It's my fault.
So you're not perfect, but
No, I get dates. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I thought you were going back when you first started walking.
No. That's what I meant was, when was the first Puppy Up Memphis walk? Because I was putting out there 14, but I should qualify this to everybody. I get dates so wrong in my head. I have so many dates, so many important dates. 3 walks, 3 of my mates have lost to cancer.
Yeah, he does not remember dates.
My dates. Well, I'm dyslexic too, and I have other pathologies that have tremendous benefits, but also tremendous downsides as well. So we won't get into that, obviously. So anyway, thank you everybody for watching this episode of Fuzzybutts and Friends and hearing these the beautiful stories. And we'll see you next week. And I also apologize for dropping this late, but I'm sure you'll understand why after you watch this episode. So Ginger, thank you. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week. Puppy Up. Talk soon.
Bye-bye.